Women in Ministry TV's Book of the Month is I'm Redeemed, God's Divine Plan for Redemption from Sickness by Velda Sherhart. When you give a gift of $25 or more, we'll send you your own copy of I'm Redeemed. Just visit womeninministrytv.com and fill out the contact form. Don't forget to mention I'm Redeemed in your message. Giving is easy. You can donate by Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle at Women in Ministry TV. Or you can mail your donation to P.O. Box 250882, Montgomery, Alabama 36125.
Of Old Testament and New Testament. And we will need this for life. And this is a particularly hard lesson for us tonight. So just brace yourselves for Genesis chapter number 34. It's nothing nice. And there are some hard lessons to learn in Genesis chapter 34. And it is very, very tragic. But ergo, life itself. Life can be tragic. Life can be terrifying. Some of the things that people do can terrify us. And it can be to the point that we are numb to the information that.
Think about phones. Sorry about that delay.
I said something about hand gesture. Was I hand gesturing?
Well, this technology is something else. It's weird.
Oh, AI picking us up.
AI is picking us up.
Well, that's part of life.
Well, AI, you pick up the word.
Yeah, get the word. Get the word.
Yeah.
So Genesis is sometimes complicated. Especially this story and this family. And this happens with this particular family. And I need to go back over the lineage. If you'll remember that Jacob has his family with him. These are grown men now. And remember that Jacob has 12 boys, one daughter. 12 boys, one daughter. 12 tribes of Israel comes from Jacob. Let me rehearse, go over those young men and their moms. Remember that Jacob is tricked into marrying Leah. Jacob loves Rachel.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Wants Laban to give him Rachel, but Uncle Laban, gives him Leah. From Leah, when they start having children, from Leah. And the oldest is Reuben. Next, Simeon. Then Levi. And then Judah. Remember Judah? We'll have to remember Judah because Jesus is from the tribe of Judah. Yeah. From Leah, not from Rachel, from Leah. Now, some good things come from Rachel, but the tribe of Judah that Jesus is from, that comes from his first wife, Leah. Then Leah gave Jacob her handmaid, Zilpah. And Zilpah gave Jacob two more children, Dan and Asher. And then remember, Rachel got into the act and gave Jacob her handmaid. Her name was Bilhah. And Bilhah had Jacob's babies, Dan and Naphtali. Dan and Naphtali. Then Leah decides to have even more children. Issachar, Zebulun, and that one daughter, Dinah. Then Rachel finally has two sons. Y'all know their names? Joseph and Benjamin. And all of those are tribes. Now, when we go over to chapter number 34, he has all these children. He has 12 boys and this one daughter. So now we'll begin reading in chapter number 34. Remember that Jacob has returned to the land of Canaan, has settled near Shechem. That's the place and that's the person's name as well. And he has reconciled with his brother Esau. He has reconciled. They now are in fellowship with one another. They live a little distance apart, but they are at least brothers again. So he has reconciled with Esau. Now we look at this story, and it almost seems as if there's a cutaway. Just like when you're watching the soap opera, there's a cutaway, and this story over here gets some attention. What the main story is carrying on, but then there's an off story that gets some attention. Just like the TV series Yellowstone. And remember, they went back and did 1823 and then 1923. They did those two stories, but the main story, Yellowstone, is still going, but they just tell you how they got there. Okay, so now it seems as if this chapter 34 is just placed in there to let you know, oh, by the way, this happens. Which also contributes to what those nations are going through right now. One could very well say that. Okay. Chapter 34, Genesis.
Chapter 34 of Genesis. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. In other words, he raped her. And that's his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel and spake kindly unto the damsel. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife.
Okay, now what has happened? They are in the land of Canaan, place called Shechem. Shechem is a place, and the leaders of that country bear that same name. They bear the same name as the country. It's named after them. So it's the people of Shechem, and then the Prince Shechem. And so he sees Dinah. And one could say love at first sight, but love at first sight turns into evil, rape, because of what he does. Love does not turn evil, not godly love. So he sees her and violates her. That still happens today. My God, there are people who actually see other people and violate them just because there's an opportunity to do so. This young man is, you want to read what it says?
Yeah, it says, Shechem, one of the previous owners of the property on which Dinah now lived, saw her, forcefully took her, and then raped, defiled her. The fact that he loved her, spake kindly to her, and even ordered his father to get her for him to take his wife, suggests that Shechem was following Hivite customs in his treatment of Dinah. Though what he did ought not to be done in Israelite society. So he was following a custom.
That's what they
just
do.
Like back in slavery. Well, black people, how they took women. Oh, that's a custom. That was just a thing they did. Okay, but yet he still wants to take her because he falls in love with her and then wants to take her as a wife. But initially, it wasn't that. It was that Hivite custom to treat Dinah that way. That's how they treated women.
just like you said, in slavery time, master could do what he want to with his slaves, but those slaves were human beings,
right?
And from those interactions, though they were wrong, though it was a violation, it was rape. Now you got a child,
right?
And the child now looks like mama and daddy. Yeah, black mama, white master dad. That does not may find favor with the child because that is his child. And if it's a girl, send her to Talladega College. You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
Y'all hear what I'm saying? Look back at the history of Talladega when it first started. And as one person said, when they had a Founders Day, and all of the former students, first students, would come back for homecoming or Founders Day, they said, "Well, why are all these little old white women interested in Talladega College?" Well, they might not be little old white women. They may be little old black women,
mulattoes.
And so that's just like Shakim wanted to be now, want to be hospitable to Dinah after the violation. The former masters want to be kind, educate, do a favor. I'm gonna give y'all this. I got it in my will that children are gonna be educated, but they do have to go to a historically black institution. All right, now go.
All right, and Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they would come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth. I mean, they were angry because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. And Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife. And make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get your possessions therein.
Can y'all name customs that different things that might be a custom in this society or this community, but they are not a custom in this community? So different cultures have different customs. These were far apart. That's why Abraham, that's why Isaac always went back to their own families, their own customs, to find wives for their sons. That's why they did it. Because some of the customs with some of the inhabitants of the land was out of whack. So by Shechem doing what he did, that might have been a custom in their land. It was not a custom of the Israelites. It was definitely not.
And see, that sets up for generational curses.
Wow.
So then you start having children. He and Dinah start having children, and them boys grow up to do the same thing that Dad did.
Oh.
So that's a generational curse. And so it passed on down until somebody break it.
And listen, there's a lot of hurt and pain in what just happened to Dinah. I mean, she is hurt, but she was even considered a second-class citizen. Correct. Even in her own community. Compared to what we go through today and what we know today. Compared to how we look upon our wives, our daughters, our sisters on today. But it does not kindle the anger of her two full brothers. They are full brothers, not half brothers. These are full brothers. And now she has six. She has six brothers. Yeah. She's got Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah. That's 4. And then Issachar and Zebulun. She has 6 brothers, 4 brothers. They are from the same, Jacob and Leah. That same mom and dad. And so these brothers were hot. They were mad. They were very angry when they found out what had happened to their sister. Okay.
And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brother, let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. Now the brother's requirement. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister, and they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. But in this will we consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. See, that's that other tradition.
That's another custom.
That's a custom.
Yeah, they have 2 different customs.
You be circumcised. Then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people.
All right. So now here's some things that are happening that we have to look at, because this happens today. There's a lot of hush when a young lady is violated in folks' families. It happens, and sometimes the family says we don't want anybody to know. So police are never informed, but the hurt is still there, and it's real, and it goes on into adulthood. How the adults at the time, how the family members at the time handle a situation like that. It is devastating. Now, a lot we know better now. We know better now. Somebody might say, what was she doing walking in the land? Did she have a right to walk in the land? Did she have a right to walk? What does that say about boundaries? What that say about this community? And then you go over across the street and you're in another community. What does that say?
All she was doing was going around looking for other ladies. She was the only daughter, so she was looking for other ladies.
But look at,
she was looking. Yeah. She went to see the daughters of the land.
Let me go visit some of these women.
Some of these women, so I can learn a little bit about the land, about the customs.
She's the only daughter in this whole tribe, so she's curious. You know, let me do what comes natural. I'm a daughter too. Let me go meet some more girls. Yeah. And all of a sudden, she is just raped. She's taken. She is violated.
You know that move say taken? That move taken.
And you know, this brings up another thing. Because I had to talk with a whole lot of folk in my field of study. Whenever a young lady was raped, one of the things that would come out of people's mouths, and especially women, how was she dressed?
How was she dressed?
That ain't got nothing to do.
You still don't have no right.
That's what I have had. That's what I have had to emphasize to some brothers when, whether it's watching a movie, watching something dramatic on television, or whether it's happening in real life, you know, having to emphasize to them, it doesn't matter. She could have on a bikini walking down the street. That doesn't give you the right to touch her. Y'all see what I'm saying?
Amen.
This goes on today. She was walking in that community and she was violated. There are many who walk around in the community, and the first thing comes out.
And you know how they dressed back then. They had long dresses on, long veils, you know, because you're in that kind of country. They got to have a headdress like you see people over in those foreign how the women dress. So you know how she dressed, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, because you can go out on Miami Beach and you can see half-dressed people all day, all night long. That doesn't mean you have the right to touch them.
That's right.
And America America and society as a whole had to get to the point where we understood that that was wrong. No matter
no
how.
means no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They had to have.
Stop
Have
means stop.
have to have national cliches about how we address when people are violated. Yeah. So Jacob is silent when he hears about the incident. Shechem's father proposes marriage between Shechem and Dinah, and they offer economic, social integration. Should Jacob have spoken up soon? Because he's really silent. He's not saying the dad.
Yeah, it's the brothers talking.
Should the dad have spoken up soon? Can injustice be covered by gifts and alliances?
Oh, Lord, have mercy. That's happening. Oh, God, don't start me. Oh, Lord.
I knew it was going to start you.
Y'all know what's going on in our country.
I knew it was going to start you.
Accepting a plane from Qatar. Bribery, quid pro quo, going on right in front of our faces.
They are enriching themselves.
If they want to give us a gift. Oh, y'all know that man, his family made about $2.6 billion in 6 months since he been in office. Wake up, America. Y'all pass this word on. And we hear crickets from the public. These same people that were sitting around here that always going to be good trouble. He ain't studying them. I'm sorry, I know what I mean.
Morally, what's at stake here?
He ain't studying.
The leader of the free world is accepting gifts. What was that? What is he giving to?
And they would arrest a teacher because it started before I left.
Sure did.
Too.
Watch this.
They would arrest a teacher, a fire teacher, if they accepted some expensive gifts from parents. Now, usually when they give you a Christmas gift, got to be a certain limit, whatever. But they had started getting to the point you can't accept all these gifts and stuff. I mean, as much as teachers do, I said, well, if he gonna be accepting gift, you might well start changing rules all the way around. See, this is not right.
This is a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. Yeah. It's okay for you to do so, and you the man, you write out executive orders and saying all these stuff, but then when it come down to the lower level, oh, everybody else still got to follow the law. Everybody else still got to do that, but you can do what you want to do.
Receiving hotels, buildings, and graft all of this. This is wrong because one is he is compromised, and it's going to be
he's compromised.
It's going to be his plane. It won't be the United States plane. He's going to give it to his library.
He talking about he was going to make it into an Air Force One, but no, we don't need to be spending billions of dollars just to fix that plane while he in office. Then after he leave off, he takes a plane.
We are doing so much more than that.
No,
and it's,
I know we're not on that.
Yeah, and think about it. To cut the budget in so many areas.
Over 40,000 people from jobs, people that got mortgages, kids in college, got to do things, got to pay bills, and then you doing this.
To cut all of these budgets to make room so that you can put a tax cut for the rich. For the rich and people who do not need a tax cut. He's using
the presidency to get rich. Y'all, I'm sorry. Woo. So for all you people that voted.
Can injustice be covered by gifts?
Black and white people and Hispanic people that vote for him. He ain't studying y'all.
Can injustice be covered by gifts and alliances?
So Menendez, they sent to jail for taking them gold bars from somebody. All these other, they didn't let them out of jail. Let Menendez out of jail. Who else? That was somebody else. Let them out of jail.
The mayor of Detroit.
Yeah. Or Jesse Jackson's son.
Yes.
Remember way back there took his seat, Jesse Jackson's son.
Yeah.
Let him out
because
jail.
He promised.
Give him back the job.
He promised to do something.
Sure did.
And he gave
the governor, remember the governor of Chicago.
He also went.
He offered a seat. Yeah. He went to prison.
Highest bidder.
Yeah.
Highest bidder.
And when Trump talked about going back trying to give money back, pay on those January 6 people that he pardoned, they were talking about wanting to go back and give them back, pay for the money they lost when they went in their job. Okay, go back and give all them other folk money too.
Woo. This is something.
See, you're crossing the slippery slope.
Now, what does the two brothers do? Simeon and Levi.
Okay, here we go.
They deceitfully agreed to the marriage. They just took Dad's place. Yeah. They deceitfully.
Well, they got it from the granddad, a trickster. So they see what I mean by generation curse.
Oh, they got it from the dad.
They got it from the dad. Okay,
Jacob is the
Jacob's that dad. That's right. Jacob is a trickster.
They got it on us.
So they got it on us.
So they deceitfully agreed to the marriage if all of the men are circumcised.
Hey, brother.
If all of the men are circumcised. This is the hard chapter in Genesis.
Yeah.
This third verse. It looked like it comes from nowhere. And it is juxtaposed into the book of Genesis. Jacob has just made up with his brother Esau. They're living in the land, and this happened.
Because if you're not circumcised, it means you're unclean. So what they did, that was not their custom.
That was a covenant between Israel
and God. So
yes.
what they were doing, say, if y'all become circumcised,
we need y'all to follow that covenant.
Converting them over to.
Yeah. And Shechem and his dad Hamor, they agreed. They convinced all the men of the city to comply. So they got a whole tribe. They got a whole community of men that have now said, "We'll do it. We'll do it." So Shechem can get Dinah. We'll do it. So he can get the love of his life. So we can get along with Jacob and Israel, and so everything will be back to normal. But it still got that custom of this woman walking around.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Circumcision, a sacred sign of covenant, is misused for revenge. How immoral is that? Circumcision, a sacred sign of the covenant that between God and Israel, is now misused so that Levi and Simeon can take revenge over Shechem and that whole community.
Like Leslie or Dana, whatever, on Beyond the Gate, how she used her own daughter to get at Ted and put her daughter out. Ooh.
Is it ever justifiable to use religious customs for personal purposes? Now, herein. Now, here's some interesting points. For what reason should a man or woman agree to divorce?
For what reason? Well, if you've been abused, if a person is being abused, and abuse comes in different ways: physical, mental abuse. Okay, yeah, I feel like
should a woman
adultery.
Wait a minute. Let me put it this way. Should two Baptist folk, two Baptist folk that are together, but the woman is being abused. She's being abused. Or the man's being abused. Either way. So, and the preacher says, y'all need to stay together. And tells the wife, you need to submit yourself to your husband. Is that the question I asked?
That's the question asked.
Is it ever justifiable to use religious customs for personal purposes? You supposed to stay with me.
Why you trying
and
to go,
submit yourself.
Why you trying to go upside my head?
Submit. Be submissive. Be a submissive wife.
I can submit to a man who follows God. And if you're following God, God is love. God is patient. Love is patient. Love is kind.
You know what?
Love is gentle.
You know what? I don't want a love. I don't want a submissive yes woman. The Bible says we are to submit ourselves to one another. See, people leave out a whole lot of stuff when they're trying to get their way. The question is it ever justifiable to use a religious custom for personal purposes? You need to stay with me.
Hey, bro.
So, hey, listen. What we have to do is really remove some of the things, some of these customs that we have been using for our own, or a person's own, the church own purpose to raise them up, but it's abusive to other folks. What about when people used to get put out the church? What about when young ladies had to come and make an acknowledgement if they found themselves with child and not a husband in order to stay in church? I remember an old lady told me, Reverend Stiggers, she said, we used to walk up and down that road. We were just talking, walk up and down that dirt road, and some of them girls, and they had the little boyfriends. I said, well, did you have boyfriends? She said, oh, no, Reverend Stiggers. No, Reverend Stiggers. I didn't want to get turned out. I said, turned out? She said, no, if you came up pregnant and y'all wasn't married, she said the church would turn you out. Justifying the use of religious. Someone.
And what did Jesus do when they had that woman?
Someone who should come on their own.
What did Jesus do when they say they caught the woman in the act of adultery? Jesus wrote down in the sand something. They went to dropping them stones running. See, I bet you that happened if the preacher did that long time ago. When they started writing something down, I bet
he rolled on the ground first, then they pressed him on him. Then he got up. He said,
if ye without sin
cast the first stone. That's all he said. That's all he said.
That's what preachers need to say. All y'all out there just judging. If you without sin, you cast.
Can I tell y'all how Reverend Stiggers handled it? Can I tell y'all how Reverend Stiggers handled that? Because when I came to Mount Pisgah, they were coming up themselves because the family had grabbed hold of that and said, you got to make an acknowledgement. Because I sure wasn't going to put nobody out of church. I don't have a church to put you in or out of. I'm just an overseer. So I did this. I assured that young lady that she did not have to stand behind that baby to be accepted. I say that today. We are not going down that road. We're not going to stand up and the mother brings that child to the church for a dedication. And men are looking and saying, well, she ain't married. She need. Some would say, I want my baby Christian. I said, we don't do that.
Yeah.
We dedicate babies.
We
dedicate babies. But then some of them would see that as an act of, I need to be accepted. If they accept my baby, maybe they will accept me. And I make sure that daughter knows we accept you, regardless of whether or not you have a baby. But we do accept you. We accept this baby. We dedicate this baby. But we accept you, regardless of whether or not you have a baby. And I try to get the daughters, mamas, I try to get everybody there. Even the brother who is the father, that they may not be married. It's not about them, not at that time. I know somebody saying right now, Reverend, I'm gonna play this at Baptist Convention because you're wrong for that, Reverend. They need to make an acknowledgement. Yeah. Well, other folk need to make an acknowledgement too.
Amen.
Folks who steal money from the church need to make an acknowledgement. People who speak nice on Sunday and then bless folk out on Monday, they need to make an acknowledgement. All the liars need to make an acknowledgement. People who got child over here and child over there, and then got two different mamas, all this. Everybody need to make an acknowledgement.
Because all have sinned and fallen short.
That's what I'm saying. Let's all make an acknowledgement. If we're going to start acknowledging, let's all start acknowledging. We all have sinned, come short of God's glory. Were it not for the grace of God, we will all be out. Nobody would be in. That's what I like about. That's what I like about God. If you go damn the folk who don't ever say nothing, won't speak up, then you got to do the same with the folk who talk too much. There's a whole lot of acknowledgement that needs to take place. And it needs to start in the pulpit. It needs to go to the choir, go to the usher,
Amen.
Go to the missionary president, the deacon board. It needs to go all over the church.
Yes.
I will not allow anybody to look down upon any member, let alone a young mother that's trying to do the best that she can. It won't happen on my watch. We're not going to do that.
Or a young father.
Yeah, or young fathers
who trying to raise their
They need prayer and they need some help.
That's right.
They need prayer and they need some help. And not just prayers, but some tangible help. You want to do something, acknowledge it, take $100 out your pocket and say, help, I know you need some help.
That's right.
It's hard raising a baby.
Hard raising baby.
Yeah, it's hard feeding the baby. That's where we need to go with it. Where is the church? Where is the community that loves, embraces, accepts? Yeah, that's the church that we need to be in times like those. We don't need to be putting nobody out of church. And then we don't need to sit up and act like we're some goody two shoes
and trying to point out.
And point out everybody else's fault.
They ain't no good. Oh yeah, we have to.
Jesus said,
like Donald Trump doing about people.
Let me tell you what Jesus said.
We're going to greet the white South Africans, let them in, but all the rest of y'all from Congo and all that place.
That's so sad. That is so sad. Listen. Here's what we need to do. Love everybody.
Love everybody. That's what
y'all write that down. Love everybody. Judge.
Amen, Valerie T. Wood, do something. Shut up.
Judge no one.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus said. Jesus said, you don't have the capacity to judge, but you have the capacity to love. You can love. You're terrible at judging. You are awful. We're some awful judges. We are awful. We are poor. We get an F plus, not F minus in judging because we don't know. We don't know. We don't have the wherewithal to judge anybody. So we can't judge. But we can love now. We got Catherine. We have the ability, the God-given ability to love everybody. That is so wonderful to me. I ain't got time to judge. I'm too busy loving.
That's right. Amen.
Keep going. Now, tell us what happened, Sister.
Chapter 34, verse 17. But if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son.
And what did they do?
And the young man deferred not to do the thing because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father.
Okay.
And Hamor and Shechem and his son came into the gate of their city and commune with the men of their city. Talk with
the men of that city.
These men are peaceable with us. Therefore, let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters.
Yeah, to write the king on. Can we all just
get along? Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised.
Okay, then what happened?
Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours?
We're going to be kinfolk.
Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us.
Okay.
And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearken all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city.
All right.
Now, verse 25, And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren,
the preacher,
took each man his sword and came upon the city and slew all of the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house
Genesis.
and
Genocide.
went out.
Genocide.
The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city because they
read that again. Read that again.
The
sons
of Jacob.
Of Jacob. That means the other 10.
The other 10 sons of Jacob came upon the slain.
Yes.
And spoiled the city. I mean, took everything.
They took all the good. Took every
the
good thing
city,
that they had, and took what else?
And because they had defiled their sister, they took sheep and their oxen, their asses, the donkeys, that which was in the city and that which was in the field, and all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives took they captive.
They enslaved them
and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land. Now you speak up. Among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, and I my house. And they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot? And they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot? My.
How did justice become vengeance? How does justice become vengeance? I guess when you just arrest people on the street and send them, take them somewhere where they never came from.
Or when you use the Justice Department,
or when it was
U.S. Attorney General to go after people because you don't like them, because you.
Or when it was a mistake, and then you don't help. Then you don't help freedom.
You don't help freedom. You say you made a mistake and still don't bring the person home.
Because.
Or you cut out the Refugee Act, but yet you go and let a certain group of refugees because what they say. I mean, they didn't have to go through no paperwork or nothing. These South Africans didn't have to do no paperwork. I mean, it was quick. Pick them up in a plane and brought them back, and that'll greet them. When other folks, refugees, folks coming over and they have to deal. There were about 12,000 people that were still waiting on refugee status to get their
go through the process.
The process. And they all stopped. They stopped the planes. See, all of that is not out front in the news. It's coming out little by little. Time magazine says now the United States is on the global list of human rights violations. For the first time ever. Since slavery, I guess.
The moral judges of the world, the protector of human rights, now violating human rights, sending folk to El Salvador,
and we paying for it too.
Oh yeah, we paying
because we paying El Salvador about $6 million. I don't know if it's a day, a week, or whatever.
When and how does justice become vengeance?
It's happening. Wake up, everybody.
Justice becomes vengeance.
2 Chronicles 7:14 still stands, y'all. If my people.
Justice becomes vengeance.
Which are called by my name.
When thousands of people rush the Capitol and break in. Justice. We want justice. Hang Mike Pence. Justice becomes vengeance.
And they're talking about paying the family of Ashley Babbitt, the one that was shot, that did security guard shoot.
Okay. Who suffers? Who suffered? Who suffers from this act? From what happened? Who suffered? Who suffered? Who suffered? Did Shechem suffer? Of course, him and his dad.
Of course, they did.
Yeah. And the whole city.
All the men.
Yeah.
See,
can you imagine? Can you imagine a child having a dad, and then his dad is dead, and they are taken off into slavery?
And somebody would probably say, "Well, they got what they deserved."
They didn't. No one deserves it.
Nobody deserves. That's what I'm trying to say. People will say things like, "Oh, they got what they deserve."
And listen. Israel's suffering too.
Yeah.
to carry that type of hatred in your heart for someone,
for these years and years. I mean,
to carry that type of vendetta,
holding back food and medical aid to the Palestinians. That's evil.
To carry this,
and now they're on Israel. Now the people of Israel are going against Netanyahu. Now y'all need to pay attention to the news. Now they're going against. They feel like they're calling on Trump to help them. They're not even calling on their own leader, Netanyahu. They say because Netanyahu is hiding behind the wall.
Yeah, if there's a war, he gets to stay in power.
Yeah, and many of those Israelites, they don't want those people in Gaza hungry.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They want their family back, but they don't want those people hungry.
Yeah.
They don't want those people suffering like that.
Read what Kathy says.
But we know when God say he has gone too far, it will be terrible for those in office. It's coming up again. Well, you know what? Today I was at home doing some things right now. Sometimes I just be talking to God while I'm working. Because you listen to the news. I said, Lord, I am not questioning you, but I'm like, when?
Yeah.
When are we going to see a change?
How
long, as King said? How long?
Well, listen to this. Listen to this. God sees and hears.
He does.
And God can act.
He knows.
What we are to do as much good as you can.
Much good as you can.
The only thing that fights evil is good.
Yeah.
The only way to fight evil is with good. Do as much good as you can.
I was coming through Columbus. I had to stop in Phoenix City to get some gas. And I had stopped at Circle K. And I went in the store, went to get me a little something. I didn't eat no breakfast. I went and got a donut. After I paid for it, that was this man. He was sitting outside the store and he was dirty, smelly. He came in and pulled out some change out of his pocket, Lord, to get a cigarette. I'm like, now you don't need no cigarette. And then he walked out, and I was thinking to myself, looking at myself, Lord, I wish this was a place where they had a shower. I'd pay for him to go get a shower. And when I walked out the store, he was sitting there, and I just, whatever change I had, I just handed it to him. I said, here, my brother. Bless you. I wish that it was a place I could have taken him to get a shower and clean up. But I had to get to Opelika.
And then somebody might say, what she want? Jacob.
I saw so many people walking past him, and I don't know whether they knew him or not. Maybe they did know he's Lord, and we know that happens. But in my heart, I just couldn't.
Listen to this. Look, Jacob put his families ahead of him when Esau was coming.
Right.
If Esau was an angry man, he would have killed them first.
Well, Jacob got that from his mama. He got being a trickster from him.
Now,
he hid behind his mama.
And listen to what Jacob said. Jacob criticized Simeon and Levi, not about what they did, but
what's going to happen to him.
He said, everybody gonna hunt us down.
Everybody gonna hunt us down.
They're gonna attack. They're gonna attack me.
Yeah.
They're gonna attack me.
So now he blaming them.
Jacob focuses on the consequences instead of what his sons had done. My.
That was
so it's pretty easy to say that there's some problems in this family.
Yeah.
There are some up and coming problems in this family. We
all got problems in our families.
This family needs, somebody said something about therapy. This family needs some therapy.
Yeah, spiritual therapy.
There's a whole lot of folk in this family that need some therapy. They need the mental health director needs to look at this family.
Yeah, this is mental health awareness month too.
This is what's going on with him.
Yeah, this is what's going on.
Diana has been violated. She needs therapy.
She needs therapy.
Of course, Simeon and Levi, they showed up need therapy.
They had hatred and
that hatred they have in them.
So much so.
And the rest of the brothers who said, "Oh, y'all done killed all of them. Ooh, I'm gonna go get me some slaves.
Now I'm gonna go steal everything.
Go get me something from the household."
Yeah.
Isn't that sad? There are some problems in this family.
Yeah.
And think about it. This blood, the blood of the members of these families, still running
Still running.
Warm in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that the blood of Jesus cleanses us, makes us whole.
I can't sing tonight, y'all.
Gives us
blood that Jesus shed.
Gives us Jesus' blood covers us. That's our therapy.
And it will never lose its power.
That's our hope.
Mm-hmm.
That is our faith. That is our belief.
Mm-hmm.
That God's blood helps us to do away with some of these generational, it covers the generational curses that are in bloodlines today.
Mm-hmm.
I pray,
yes,
that God's blood takes over. God's influence, God's character, God's love, God's compassion, God's kindness, God's insight, God's foresight, his perspective. I pray that it takes over instead of what we have seen in Genesis chapter 34.
Mm-hmm.
Take heed, my brothers and sisters. We will see you all on next Tuesday, hopefully, for chapter 35 of Genesis as we go through this Bible, studying the word of God, hiding it in our heart that we might not sin against God.
Tremaine Price, tell your family we say hello. Thank all of you for joining us tonight. We truly appreciate it.
Love y'all.
Women in Ministry TV's Book of the Month is I'm Redeemed, God's Divine Plan for Redemption from Sickness by Velda Sherhart. When you give a gift of $25 or more, we'll send you your own copy of I'm Redeemed. Just visit womeninministrytv.com and fill out the contact form. Don't forget to mention I'm Redeemed in your message. Giving is easy. You can donate by Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle at Women in Ministry TV. Or you can mail your donation to P.O. Box 250882, Montgomery, Alabama 36125.